Hello and welcome to blog post number 13, Stop Mislabeling Kids When Personality Gets Diagnosed as ADHD. Your child isn't broken. Why we must understand personality before medicating. We've talked about dysregulation through the lens of tech, sleep, food, and connection, but now it's time to go even deeper. What if you could predict the types of things that would throw your child off balance? And more importantly, what would bring them back? That's where understanding personality comes in. Why personality matters. Every child is born wired a certain way, and their personality affects how they process stress, connection, stimulation, and boundaries. What dysregulates one child might energize another. What calms one student might overwhelm the next. When we respond to every child the same way, we end up missing the mark and escalating the very behaviors we're trying to stop. Let's take an example: ENFP versus an ISTJ. The ENFP child is curious and imaginative and spontaneous, but struggles with follow-through and consistency. If they feel controlled or micromanaged, they'll push back, shut down, or act out. The ISTJ child thrives on routine, structure, and predictability. When that structure breaks down or the environment is too chaotic, their anxiety spikes and they may withdraw, freeze, or become overly critical. If you use the same behavior chart or consequence system for both, neither is likely going to succeed. Behavior is communication. Personality is the translator. When a child is dysregulated, it's easy to assume they're being defiant, disrespectful, or lazy. But those labels are almost always a surface-level misunderstanding of what's happening underneath. When you know your child's personality type, you can understand their triggers and patterns, offer choices that resonate on how their brain works, use language that motivates rather than shames, and redirect their energy instead of punishing emotion. Real-life parenting wins. With an ENTP, set time limits with logic and humor, not rigid rules. Explain the why and offer a challenge they can solve. With an ESFP, create a social-based motivation, praise them for being a leader, and coach them on gaining good attention. With an INTJ, structure and clarity matter. They need predictable routines, but also autonomy. Give them choice within limits. With an INFP, connect emotionally first. They won't respond to demands until they feel understood. This doesn't mean letting kids off the hook. It means guiding them in a way that works. Bottom line, we are overdiagnosing, overlabeling, and overreacting to behaviors that make perfect sense when you consider the child's personality. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need a starting point, and understanding how your child is wired might just be the key to unlocking calmer days, fewer meltdowns, and better connection. So are we diagnosing personality? When natural traits get pathologized. In today's classrooms, more children than ever are being flagged for behavior concerns: impulsivity, defiance, inattentiveness, social immaturity. But here's the question no one is asking. Are we diagnosing disorders, or are we pathologizing personality? Understanding the line between personality and disorder. Every child is born wired a certain way. Some are high energy, curious, and talkative. Others are highly sensitive, emotionally reactive, or deeply imaginative. None of that is inherently bad. It's personality. But when these traits show up in school environments that don't match how the child learns or functions best, we start hearing words like ADHD, oppositional defiance disorder, anxiety, autism spectrum disorder. These are real diagnoses, and many kids need that support. But many others are simply reacting to environments that do not understand them. When personality types mimic diagnoses. Certain personality types are more likely to get flagged, not because something is wrong with them, but because their way of interacting with the world doesn't fit the classroom mold. ENFP, ESFP, ENTP are pretty common ones. Energetic, expressive, and easily distracted by novelty. Thrive on movement, exploration, and social interaction, often labeled as hyperactive, impulsive, or off-task. ISTP and ESTP, they are action-driven, hands-on learners. They need stimulation and real-world connections. May seem inattentive or non-compliant during sit-down tasks. An ISFP or an INFP, they might seem deeply emotional, quiet, or resistant to surface-level expectations. They might appear shy, withdrawn, or avoidant, often misunderstood as shutting down. That was definitely me growing up, And anytime someone would come talk to me directly, I would start crying. It was very annoying. In rigid systems, these traits get punished or referred for evaluation, when in reality, they may just need a different learning environment or communication style. The cost of mislabeling. When personality is mistaken for disorder, we risk unnecessary medication, lower self-esteem, I'm bad, broken, or different type of mentality. They might have missed opportunities to develop real strengths. Parent-child relationships break down due to misunderstandings. Instead of asking, what's wrong with this kid, we should be asking, what are this child's strengths? What type of environment helps them thrive? How can I teach in a way that works with, not against, their wiring? It's time we stop labeling kids as broken or not fitting into a system that was never designed for them. Let's reframe the conversation. Not what diagnosis do they need, but what does this child actually need to be understood, supported, and successful? More resources on the 16 personalities, child development, classroom management, and even structured literacy can be found at mindchild.net. Don't forget to like and subscribe.